Okay, here is part 3, and maybe it'll be the final. Maybe I'll just have 3 parts to this. Part 3 of my 1-year update. All right, if you've really watched the other 2 and you're still with me, thank you. Isn't this fun? My kids are being super patient. My house is getting a little bit messier, and there's a root beer float I just saw out in the other room that's been sitting there for 2 days, and one of my daughters has roller skates on right now, so I hope the roller skates and the root beer float do not collide. So I'm going to get through this and then plug back into momming. Look, here's this was in the video. I just love this outfit. This is like, oh, I used to watch people lose all this weight and they still had their outfit from their before picture. I gave away tons. Okay. I think video 2, I said, get rid of all that stuff so you don't identify with it. Keep something. All right. So I kept this from my before picture. That's what these jeans are. Oh, I love them. They're so sweet. You know what? I felt good in these, and I think they're cute. I do not look back and think, oh, I hate myself. No, I don't. I love myself. I was hardworking then. I'm hardworking now. I just was on a journey to figure out how to shed that skin and get up out of that. You know, people say, I want a 6-pack. You have a 6-pack. You just can't see it. All right. So I'm just so glad to shed that fat and not have that on me. But I love those pictures, and I felt pretty good, you know. It's like, that's why here in a minute we're going to talk about that, but we'll get there in a second. That you can't do this for vanity. I couldn't, because I was like, whatever, I look good enough. Take me to a Mexican restaurant, Greg. I am happily married. Like, no, vanity would not have been enough for me to have gone through what I've gone through this past year, which has included a lot of perseverance, I guess, to get through the excruciating process of building momentum in the right direction, which is what changing behavior requires. Okay, I'm going to show you something. Watch how fast I can drink a bottle of water. When I say I earn my breakfast every morning, I do 2 bottles of water. I someday will be able to do my tap water, but I can't right now because we have well water, and it causes me to break out into some horrible rash on my hands. It's awful. There's some kind of algae in it. I don't know. I don't want it. Okay, so I do room temperature water so that I can drink it fast. All right, let's see how many seconds I can do this in. Okay, I just flung that. Oh, I gotta be ladylike. Okay. Oh, I didn't even watch how many seconds. It's probably 20. I guess I can go back and watch this. I'll leave it in the description. No, I won't. Okay, there's the lid. Watch out for these. I learned this from a friend of mine that's an EMT. Children choke on these. The cheap, not the big, like on a 7-Up or a Pepsi bottle, like that big lid. These cheap Walmart lids. See how it's skinny? The Walmart water. Children choke on these more than hot dogs. That's what he told me. I believe it. It scares me. I always be sure to put it back on the bottle. Anyways, there we go. There's that. So, thank you, Cameron Diaz, by the way. I might link that. I won't, but she was on Dr. Oz years and years ago talking about how she drinks a bunch of water first thing in the morning. You know, your body needs water for every single function, literally every single function. When I had my 5th baby and I would like catch myself like zoning out from exhaustion and chaos around me. Like, I don't even know what to do next. Should I spank that kid or help that one that's bleeding or feed that one that's 3 weeks old and hungry? I mean, it's sometimes hard to prioritize, right? Like, that one's hungry, but that one's bleeding. So I told myself anytime I literally did not know what move to make next, I would chug a bottle of water to wake your brain back up. Water is amazing like that. And it also, when you wake up in the morning, two things. You're number one, dehydrated because you've been breathing all night long. Imagine when you clean your glasses, you breathe, you see the moisture. When you breathe all night long, you wake up dehydrated. So you might think you're hungry, but again, thirsty. But also, so drink water just because, get it all rolling. And you'll notice, like right now, my nose is kind of running. As soon, I mean, it's not really running, but like I can just feel it. As soon as you drink the water, it goes everywhere it needs to go. It's amazing. Also, water gets your system rolling and makes you have to poop. So it makes everything get flowing just like you want it to. We want to function. I tell my kids, don't be deceived, kids. People think they want to thrive. They want to become famous. They want to become rich. They want to have money. People think they want to succeed. But I promise you, more than anything in the world, what you really want to do is function. And you cannot succeed until you're functioning. So we want to function in every sense of the word, including our bodies. We want them to function, and they need water to function. So here are, I'm going to go through mantras and mentalities. Here we go. Here's a question I like to ask myself. I asked myself this last night at my mother-in-law's house. It was her birthday. I got her a German chocolate cake. It looked delicious. Everybody grilled out steaks. It smelled delicious. And normally I would have absolutely enjoyed a steak. I did for lunch yesterday, but I did not want to eat another steak because I was desperate this morning to see a certain number that would have allowed me to tell you that I lost 75 pounds in 1 year. And that was a hard night last night, but worth it because I was able to tell you I lost 75.8 pounds in 1 year. I was kind of thinking, had I eaten a steak for lunch and a steak for dinner, and when I say steak, I mean 4 ounces, I might not have seen that number this morning. I don't know. I just thought I'm going to have integrity and stick to exactly what I wrote last night, which was 4 ounces of ham, 14 ounces of vegetables, and 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil with some balsamic vinegar and ½ an ounce of nutritional yeast. So I stuck to that. I ate it, and God blessed me with 0.8 above and beyond my goal. So last night when I was at my mother-in-law's, it was really difficult. I was really tired. I just thought, oh, the cake looks good and the steak smells good. But I asked myself, here's a little mantra to ask yourself. Will this make the moment better if I ate it? Would it make the moment better, or would it make my life better? And I will not deny that it would make the moment better. I won't deny that. I was tired and grumpy, and a piece of German chocolate cake about this big, like a big triangle, with ice cream, it would have made that moment better. I would have all of a sudden been fun and funny, but instead I was not fun or funny. I was so grumpy because everyone around me was so annoying. But everyone around me was so annoying. I'm sure partly because I was so grumpy. Anyways, yes, it would have made the moment better. I will not deny that. If I knew for sure that I was going to head to heaven Sunday and today was Friday, yeah, I would have eaten it. But hopefully, God will answer my prayer and let me have many, many more decades here on earth. Psalm 139, like we talked about earlier, he knows how many hairs are on our head. I believe he knows how many breaths we'll take. He knows exactly when we'll come and when we'll go. And I hope that I have many more decades to be here. And so I'm going to make decisions that benefit my life, not the moment. Time out.
Daddy's in the office.
Thank you. Do you want to be on my video? Yeah. Okay, come here. What a cutie. She needs to be on my video. Come here. Okay, this is special. Okay, be on my video real quick, and then I'm going to shove you out. Okay, come here. This is Mary. I tell everyone she's my baby, but she reminds me often she is what?
Do you like my lipstick? I got it good.
You did get it really good. But listen, I just asked a question. I want you to listen to me and hear me answer. You ready? A lot of times I say you're my baby, and then you say, oh. What?
I don't like it.
You don't like it because you're not what?
Not a baby.
You're not a baby. So really, I'll quit saying you're my baby, and I'll start saying you're my youngest child. Why don't you like that?
I just want to say, I just want you to say, this is my little kid.
Okay. Hey everybody, this is my little kid Mary. Okay, good point. I don't always have to talk about what order you came in. All right, this is my little kid Mary. Oh, she's so cute. And look at this. Let's show them everything. How cute is that?
And I put sunglasses.
Little skirt. Yeah, sunglasses with a little hair coming down. So cute. Now, I think that's it. You want to say goodbye? Thank you for letting me know that Daddy was on the couch. Did you mostly just want to come in to show me your lipstick?
Does it look good?
Yes, it looks good.
Well, I can see it on the camera.
Okay, I better finish my video. Did you want to say anything else?
Bye, because I love your video.
Thank you, Mary. I love you, sweetie. I'll see you soon, okay? Will you shut that bathroom door?
Here's this little guy for the video.
Okay, thank you. All right, go. I gotta hurry. This is already 10:54. Love you. Shut that door.
I love you too. Wait.
Thank you. Bye. A lot of lipstick in that kiss. Okay, bye-bye. Okay. Since the kids don't go to school every day, they don't get a ton of structure. And so they just romp and roll and wrestle. 90% happy, 10% fighting. But lots of craziness. And so I've noticed with her, I'm going to tell you something about her. I've noticed she answers, talks really silly. And sometimes I'm like trying to talk to her and she's like still in silly mode. I swear it's a human version of littermate syndrome where puppies are in the same litter and they don't hear their human because they're just like, who cares about you? We're having fun wrestling. So my kids like wrestle so much that I'll try to talk to them and they're still in wrestle mode. So I'm like, listen to what I said and then answer me. Okay. And then we'll go on and talk about lipstick. But right now, listen. Okay. Oh my goodness. What in the world? Okay. I remember what I was talking about. Will this make my moment better or will this make my life better? And let's hope we have lots more time here on earth, right? I mean, I hope I do. So I want to make decisions that make my life better, not just the moment better. So that's kind of one mantra or mentality. Here's something very helpful for me to keep in mind. My friend Jennifer, we crack up together saying, boy, we're not picky. We'll eat for any reason. Negative reasons or positive reasons, right? You could eat because you're sad and lonely and depressed and angry, or you'll eat because you're happy and celebrating. Blah, blah, blah. Like there's all those sorts of reasons to eat. I was pretty naive a couple weeks ago when I started thinking about maybe hosting a group for women that want to do this, some type of support group. I had people starting to ask me about what church I went to and thought, should I just start a church? No, I'm not going to. But my church is a little far for them to travel to, but I wasn't sure about the churches in their town. So I thought, well, maybe I could meet them once a week and we could do like a Bible study. I don't know. I was prayerfully discerning what God was asking me to do, and I'm very relieved he's not asking me to do that. Anyways, that plus, here's another visual. I talked about the rings. I talked about the pearl. I'm about to adopt 2 standard poodles. Okay. Mine is a little girl named Jubilee. That means celebration of a certain anniversary. I'm celebrating this, my 1 year on Bright Light Eating. I'm also celebrating turning 40. So I'm getting this little poodle, naming her Jubilee, as a visual, as another visual. That I'm turning the extra fat that was on my body into a poodle. But when I'm done, I think I'm going to lose somewhere around 108 pounds, and poodles are only 55. So I thought, I need 2. So we're getting 2 poodles. So pretty soon we're going to have 5 kids, 4 dogs, 8 cats, 2 hamsters, 1 fish, and a calf that we feed. And then, of course, more cows and bulls than I can count. In fact, if you need a bull, we're about to have a bull sale. Registered Charlets. Okay. Anyways, yes, I'm about to adopt 2 standard poodles, which I'm super excited about. And I swear it's a spiritual thing. I'm like, there's been times where I'm like, I don't think I want these poodles. I finally don't have any more babies. But God's like, yeah, get the poodles, go for it. So I'm literally turning. And by the way, when I have 2 massive standard poodles that are like miniature horses, it's going to blow my mind to think I used to carry that with me every step of the way. Again, spiritual undertones here. I used to carry that heavy weight. But knowing that I'm about to adopt these poodles, a lot of good stress, a lot of like, oh, this is exciting. Wow, God's using me to start a meeting. No, I'm not even doing the meeting anymore. Because what happened was my lines got blurry. And then I became painfully aware that even though it was good stress, it was still stress in my life. Now that sends the message to my brain, we need more food. We can't handle all this. We need to turn to something for comfort, but also calories. Like, alert, alert, alert. So I fell off the wagon and binged a couple times a couple weeks ago, but it was very good for me to realize why. Again, this is what I'm talking about. My journey has not been, it's been perfectly imperfect because there are lessons. Susan Pierce Thompson talks about when you resume and you get back on, the 4 S's: self-love, seek the lesson, speed, do it speedy, and there's another one. I can't think of it right now. But anyways, my point is I've sought the lessons and I've learned a lot. And I have learned that even good stress, so here's a mantra or mentality for you. Even good stress, beware. Beware, beware. Even good stress can potentially, and I'm not saying avoid good stress. Have babies, adopt dogs, build a new home, get a college degree. But be aware, don't be naive, that good stress in your life could somewhat unexpectedly drive you to your drug. Because there are times where the good stress, maybe the thought of having the poodle or these poodles coming up, I stayed up extra late getting things ready around the house because our house, it was hard for me to find a spot to record this video because my house looks somewhat insane. We have moved out and back in and it's crazy and we're renovating and anyways, good stress, not just bad stress, not just death, not just the loss of a loved one, not just a fire or losing a job, not just bad stress. It can be good stress that drives you towards your drug. So be aware of that. Okay, here's something I want to tell you. This is just a healthy mentality. There is no such thing as back to square one. Every time I did a diet and it didn't work and I tried another one, I was not back to square one. I had gained that knowledge. I had gained that experience. So back here, I was trying this diet, then it didn't work. So up here, I was trying this diet. So I'd try another one. I was learning. I was on a scavenger hunt. We're on a scavenger hunt. Life is a scavenger hunt. We're trying to find our way. There's no such thing as gaining your weight back. The 30 pounds, when you'll never have more or less fat cells. They either swell or they shrink. When you find ways to make them shrink and release those toxins and get rid of them and burn those calories and pee out the toxins and just detox your body. When you find, that just reminded me, that just reminded me that at the very beginning, I feel lighter. I was saying I feel lighter and more feminine and all this. I also feel more minimal because I've decluttered not only my home, but my body. So when you find ways to declutter your body and you find ways to release fat, even if they're not a final solution, even if you gain it all back, for one thing, at least you lost that 20 because if you gained that 20 back, now you're not up 40. At least you lost 20 and then gained 20. So you're at least back where you were. Had you not lost the 20 and gained 20, you'd be up 20 more. You get what I'm saying? So it's good that you lost it, even if you gained it back. But gaining it back, you learned more. And I just chalk that up to life experience, okay? So like, there's no such thing as gaining the same weight back. People say, oh, I gained all my weight back. No, you didn't. You gained new weight. New weight. Because you had new life experiences. I consider it tuition. Consider it debt that you can get out of. It's temporary. Do you hear me? People, I tell them, they're like, I gained all this weight. I'm like, yeah, because you just had a kid. You gained weight, but you also gained life, literally another life, right? If you went to college and gained 20 pounds, consider it part of your tuition. You had so much life happening that a little weight gain is a small price to pay for the progress you made. You now have a degree and some debt to get out of, both financially and physically. You spent more money than you had. You ate more calories than you had. So be it. And move forward. Don't look back and say, wah. Say, wow. Oh, that was good. Swap out your wah for wow, okay? Say, wow, we've come a long way. Yeah. If Greg and I retook that picture about 2 years ago at our heaviest, people might say, wow, they gained a lot of weight. When we look around our house and say, wow, we gained a lot of kids and a lot of college degrees and a lot of land. And I'll stop. I'm not trying to brag. I'm trying to point out that gaining 200 pounds of extra squishy fat, so what? It's a small price to pay. It's life. You know, we didn't, and every time I lost 30 and gained it back, I wasn't like, oh, I gained that same 30 back. No, I didn't. I was further along. I probably had another kid. I did that over and over. So you get my point. There's no such thing as square one. There's no such thing as gaining your weight back. You are further along in life. Yes, you gained the weight, but you also gained other stuff that would be a lot more fun to focus on. You gained knowledge and wisdom and life experience and kids and college degrees and debt that we're going to get out of someday. Okay. Here's a very important mentality for me. Like I said, vanity would not have been enough for me to drop 75.8 pounds in 1 year. It took the buy-in for me. It took me accepting the fact, oh my gosh, I'm addicted. My brain's addicted. Knowing that it was addicted was highly motivating for me to figure out, what do I do with that? Also very exciting for me to think, wow, God might use me in ways that I didn't anticipate 2 years ago. But I know I'm addicted. I remember shaking until I got sugar in my system. I remember thinking, I'm not tasting this. I don't care what it tastes like. If I could, I'd just stick it in my arm. Not really. But you know what I'm saying. It had nothing to do with the chewing and swallowing. It was no longer visually pleasant. People say addiction, first you take it to feel normal. First you take it to feel good. Then you take it to feel normal. I probably used to be pretty enamored with the way sugar looked. Oh, chocolate, ice cream, it's so cute, so sprinkles, after a while I didn't care what it looked like. I needed it in my system fast because I needed to function. I took my kids to dance class once. I took them out of the van. If you have kids, you know the work it takes to unbuckle them. They were in the parking lot. We were going to be late to dance class, and I had a craving come on. I was fiending for my drug, and I started shaking and thought, I cannot go 1 hour. I can't. I put them back in the van. And we went and got me some sugar. And I inhaled sugar. And then I calmed down. And the shaking quit. And we proceeded. I am so addicted to sugar that when I'm in the throes of my addiction, I have to have it to function. And I do not want to have sugar to function. Water, yes. Sugar, no. Okay, so it was very important for me to buy into the addiction part of this, which is, again, this is the key that turned my lock, because nothing I've ever done before, and I've done a lot, talked about food in this way. Talked about sugar as a drug. Susan, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I just got a text message. This is hilarious. I just got a text. I will include this. I might. Yes, I think I will. I just got a text from the girl that I'm buying my poodle from. She's sending me pictures of my Jubilee. Yes! Okay, Jubilee is apricot and white. Walter is Franklin's puppy. He's Black Phantom. So we're going to get a little girl named Jubilee and a little boy named Walter. And they will go well on this farm. My kids are Thomas, Charlie, Franklin, Clara, and Mary. Every time I was pregnant, I looked up names from the 1900s, so Walter will fit right in around here. I tried to name one of my kids Henry. No one would let me, so that's a middle name. I tried to name Franklin Walter. Nope, but now we're getting a poodle named Walter. Anyways, no one has ever approached it like this before. It blows my mind that it's so awful, really. These companies trying to help you lose weight say, you can spend your whatever points, whatever, on whatever you want. Now, of course, they're going to encourage you to spend it on other things. But number one, it blows my mind that they allow you to eat these. I don't want to name names. That's not my goal here, to like run anybody else through the mud. But it just blows my mind that I used to constantly eat all day long, which constantly spiked insulin, which constantly kept me in fat storage mode. Working against myself. Also, it just is crazy to think that I could spend as much of my points on sugar as I wanted. We're going to talk about this later, but there's so much freedom in these boundaries. There's so much freedom. I'm experiencing freedom now because I have the right parameters, because I have the right boundaries. I am headed toward my goal, just like when you go bowling and you give your kids the bumpers. The bumpers are not there to stunt growth. They're there to usher them right in the narrow path to the goal. And I'm grateful for these bumpers. I'm grateful for these parameters. I need them. Okay, so I had to buy in that this is addiction. Again, I remember taking my before picture with this shirt on and these jeans on. And I was like, oh, I like it. That'll work. Looks cute. All right. If you're going to do this, go ahead and have your final meals, your last suppers, because it's like picking I've never smoked, but like from what I hear, it's like picking a smoking quit date, So I'm sure I was like, yeah, all right, works for me. It looks like a cute before picture. Now, I would never just wear that tank top out because you could see my rolls and all this. So I'd have like some other layer, right? It's almost like putting layers and layers on a elephant. You can't see the fat, but you know it's in there. Again, vanity. I mean, I used to have a really low self-esteem. I used to be so critical of myself. I'm just not anymore. So again, vanity would not have been enough for me I've cried over this several times this past year. I wept like a child when they finally realized there's no more, they don't need to kick and scream anymore. They're not going to get it. That's tension release. I learned that teaching special ed, crisis prevention training. When the kid's finally crying, they're finally over the hump. They've quit throwing the fit and they've surrendered. I've surrendered many times and just cried because I knew I wasn't going to get what I wanted, and I wanted it, and I just cried. Ironically victorious, not defeated, but still disappointed. So look, you think vanity's going to have me kicking and screaming and then finally cry? No way. I would say I'll slap some paint on this old house and let's go to a Mexican restaurant. Like I said, I'm happily married. He's happily married. We didn't hate ourselves, but I knew that was not what God wanted for me. I knew it was not part of my plan to stay obese, stay in an obese body, I should say, forever. Okay. So here we are. Just an interesting thing about addiction. I used to, like I said before, would not have thought I had a sweet tooth. And then finally I ended up with sweet systems where I use sugar to the point where it actually has nothing to do with a sweet tooth. It's addiction. Okay. So I would use food to cope, connect, stop, and go. I would use, excuse me, when I say food, I mean sugar. But I could also eat enough food, even healthy food, to get enough sugar in my system to get a high or whatever. So I would use it to like cope and connect, to stop and go. I'd use it to put myself to sleep. I'd use it to wake up. I'm sure people that have other addiction issues with anything that's like a downer, a depressant, alcohol to go to sleep, or some type of speed to wake up and get going, caffeine, I think we can all relate to like using substances to go to sleep and then using substances to wake up. I don't want to do that. I want to fuel my body to go, and I want to function properly. So this has been very difficult. It's been a struggle, but listen, that's why we go to the gym. Struggling is not a bad thing. It's a very, very, very good thing. It builds muscles and helps us find new ways to operate and live. It builds a variety of muscles. Muscles that you need for work you have ahead of you that you cannot even. Habakkuk 1:5. If we knew the plans God had for us, we wouldn't even believe them. Get ready for them. Isn't that kind of exciting to think we need to prepare for our futures, even though we have no idea what we're preparing for? Really is kind of exciting, kind of motivating. Makes me want to be ready. For one thing, if I'm not, here's kind of this absolute truth. I want to get ready for what God has in store for me. And if I don't, He won't have it in store for me. I want to be one of God's most well-trained, obedient German shepherds, like on the police academy. And He's like, I need somebody. Emily, get over here. She'll do it. If I'm like an obese, exhausted German shepherd that's not managing, that's not turning to God to help me manage, He just will not, as much as He wants to, He will not be able to choose me for that task. And I want to be used. I want to work for Him. Colossians 3:23, work for God, not for man. It's quite rewarding. Okay. Here's a mentality. If you went to the doctor and the doctor said, you have an infection, take this antibiotic. Take it twice a day, every day for 5 days. The first day, take 10 milliliters twice a day. The second day, take 6 milliliters twice a day. Okay. You would do that. You would go home and do exactly that. God has prescribed this to me, and if I came home and came up with my own version of it, then I'm not taking my prescribed medicine the way it was prescribed. So that's where I've most recently surrendered. I'm on day 365, but it probably took me until about day 220 to get that this has been prescribed to me, and I want to take it as prescribed. My sister, who is 4 years sober, when I started this, she said, Emily, I swear, she caught me in the kitchen, and I was like, I would never. She said, don't manipulate this. Don't do a different version of it. Don't come up with your own way to do it. Just do it. Follow your program. And I was like, yeah, of course I will. But I wasn't. I was like eating double the protein one day and no protein the next day and blah, 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 blah. I was like, some days I would eat breakfast at 9, lunch at 11, dinner at 1. And then be like, wow, people that intermittent fast would really be impressed. I haven't eaten since 1 o'clock yesterday. Not impressive, because basically what I was doing by eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner all together is binging. It's sort of like a drawn out binge. And even though it's bright line foods, they still have traces of sugar, right? Like fruits and vegetables. And I mean, everything has a trace, and we're allowed to eat things if sugar's not, in the top 3 ingredients. So, I mean, I had traces. If you binge, if I eat a 5-gallon bucket, I'm going to get enough sugar into my system to get high, right? So, thank you, my sister Joy. Joy is why this dog's name is Jubilee. When I first started dating Greg, he was asking me what are my siblings' names. And I said, one of them, her name is, it starts with J and it means happy. And he said Jubilee. So for 20 years, he was kind of being silly. I thought that was cute. For 20 years, I thought Jubilee meant happy. It doesn't. It means a celebration of a certain anniversary. So there will be pictures of Jubilee to follow. I've got to remember this is on part 3. Okay. So surrender to the prescription, surrender to the program, surrender to the 4 individual bright lines. Hence this puzzle with 4 individual pieces that come together and make one puzzle piece. Okay. Here's a good little mantra. Do not white knuckles, white flags. I always say white knuckles are red flags. White knuckles are red flags. If you are white knuckling, if you're like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Look, they're really white. That's a red flag. That's not sustainable. You can't go through life holding on that tight for that long. Something's going to give. There's going to be a crack, all right? So if you are feeling like you're white knuckling, you need to step back a little, zoom out a little, figure out what changes you can make. Add the water, add the help, add the support. Like Susan talks about, your support bar has to be as high as your stress bar, even if it's good stress. If you're white knuckling, that's a red flag. So instead of white knuckling, I like to think not white knuckles, white flag, surrender. The quicker, there's a period of time I'd write the word accept on my hand every day, ACCEPT. I was going through a hard time, and every day I thought, I need to accept how difficult this is. I need to accept that I don't have control over the next hour. I need to accept. The quicker you can accept, even if you've just lost a loved one, even if, you know what, and I'm not minimizing this. I'm really not. I don't want to minimize your pain, but the sooner you accept your circumstances, the sooner you feel better, because you realize us thinking we're in control is a big fat facade anyways. We're not. The sooner you accept your circumstances, the sooner you feel better. It's like when your mom used to make you wear a turtleneck. Don't fight it. Just let her put it on. Don't struggle with accepting your circumstances. Accept them, and then you can move forward. So instead of white knuckles, it's a white flag. I surrender. I surrender that this is, here's my little turtle, my little white flag. I surrender. This is my prescribed plan. You heard me say it here. If you ever hear me say something other than that, remind me of this. I sincerely believe God has prescribed this to me, and I accept it. I surrender. So not white knuckles, white flags. Okay, here's a mentality. By the way, here's a visual that I left out earlier. Ladies, you all know we want to see our collarbones. Like, collarbones, I don't know. Collarbones, some people it's kneecaps, some people it's, we all have different things that are like, oh, look what you can see now. All right, this is crazy. I have blown past collarbones, and now I have like, if I wore a really deep V, you can see like, I had to look it up. I'm like, what are those? They're ribs. This is why I'm not a doctor or a nurse. That's bad. I didn't realize those are ribs. I always thought these are ribs, but these are ribs too. Anyways, you can see like that. I mean, I've had to I'm like, uh-oh, is this going too far? But no, it's just maybe since I'm older now, I don't carry fat like I did when I was a robust teenager. Anyways, that's a visual. There's a visual for you. You're going to love. Like I said, people want a six-pack. We have six-packs. We all do. You just can't see them. I now have shin bones, kneecaps. One of my kids said, Mama, look at your knees. Through my jeans, I have knees. Go figure. Okay, but I digress. Here's a mentality. Dr. Phil, you remember when you used to watch Dr. Phil, and at the beginning of his show, he'd say, I want you to get excited about your life. So do I. I want you to get excited about your life. I want you to be so excited. I want you to be more excited about your life than you are about the food you're about to eat. And I sat at a Mexican restaurant a couple weeks ago thinking about the poodles. That's what it was. I went and got them collars and little name tags because I just named them that day. Jubilee, she's had her name for a while, but we named Walter. So I got little name tags. We're all ready. We're going to adopt them December 12th. So I sat at this Mexican restaurant. Everybody around me is eating, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the poodles. Look at these tags I got. And I thought, oh my gosh. And I keep talking about Mexican restaurants because that's like my thing. I thought, I'm more excited about fill in the blank. I'm more excited about life than I am this food in front of me. Hallelujah. It's taken a year to get there. But you got to retrain your brain. It's conditioning. It's reinforcement. It's constantly redirecting your brain. That's why it's like, don't look over here. Look over here. Put this ring on your finger. Remind yourself. Have something shiny in your peripheral vision that reminds you, stay the course. The next time here's an excellent visual. Next Tuesday, if I'm at my lowest again, because I've been up and down a couple times in the past couple months, then I go get gel fingernails. All right, so that's going to be a good visual for me. Emily, keep going. You are now back at your lowest. Okay, so Dr. Phil says I want you to get excited about your life, but here's something really, really cool. Did you know? Maybe you did, but if you're like me, you don't. You didn't, and now I do, and now you will. Did you know that chess players during a tournament burn, hear me when I say this. They burn about 6,000 calories over the course of a weekend playing chess, sitting down. I call it a mental metabolism. Their bodies are so excited. They are burning calories just because of their mentality. Chess players burn a bunch of I need to wrap this up. I'm getting sloppy and I'm hungry. Chess players burn a bunch of calories playing chess. If you're excited about your life, I'm convinced that you will have what I call it a mental metabolism. Your metabolism will rev up just from thoughts, all right? Just from like being excited. You'll be burning calories because your body's like, yeah, like, we've got places to go. We got things to do. So your mentality is very, very important. Do you hear me? Your mentality. Keep it positive, 100% positive. A lot of times things need to get worse before they're getting better. So I just butchered that. It's a little quote I like to say. I'm quoting myself. A lot of times things need to get worse before they get better. So in reality, they're always getting better, even when they're getting worse, right? That's very positive, and I am not just some happy person. I am serious about staying positive, and I find conscious ways where I make conscious efforts to be positive and stay positive. It's all perspective, people. You got to take off those negative perspective of things and have a positive perspective of things, which comes down to your choice. So let's see here. I was going to say something else about a positive mentality. It left me. I guess if it's meant to be, it'll come back. Okay. Here's a mentality I want you to understand. I think we're going to end on this note. You are not fat. You're not. Literally. You might be carrying extra fat, but you are not fat because you are not your body. You are in your body. You are a spirit. You have a soul. You are in a body. This body, it's a vehicle. So don't let yourself believe you're fat. Don't tell yourself I'm fat. You can say my body's fat. You got to distinguish the difference between you and your body. Separate them out. Then you can be objective and there won't be shame involved because it's not you. It's not character flaws. It's just what might be kind of like habit issues that caused extra fat to end up on your body. Fat is a yellow sticky substance that's very important for us to stay warm and have fuel to burn. You are not fat. Your body might have extra fat on it. Why am I stressing this? Because we become what we believe we are. It took me gaining 100 pounds to realize I'm not fat. I'm Emily. I had a much healthier self-esteem at my before picture than I did in that picture. I thought I was fat in that picture. So guess what? If we become what we believe we are, I thought I was fat, and guess what? I got a lot fatter. Once I realized I was Emily, I became more Emilyer. Okay? Mary, I see you sneaking in here. What's up?
Are you almost done with the video?
Yeah, pretty soon.
Hang on.
2 more minutes on this one and then 1 more part. Why? What's up?
Because I want to see the money. Can you just show me?
Yeah, the money's back there, but I don't want you to take it. Just look at it. Okay? She wants her money. It's back there by the mirror. Look behind those jeans. Even though I told her she cannot have the cash, I'm going to put it in my account, and then she wants to get something from Target. Okay, so hear me when I say we become what we believe we are. You need to challenge what you believe about yourself. I've done that before. I've dealt with some severe depression, and I was, by the grace of God, able to think, no, this cannot all be true about me. Every single thing I'm thinking about myself, this was postpartum after my first kid, is so negative, so awful. This couldn't be true about anybody on the planet. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to challenge those thoughts. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up and start writing down those thoughts, and I'm going to read them and see if I even agree with them. I told a therapist once, I've gotten a lot of therapy over the years. I told a therapist once, I want a bumper sticker that says, don't believe everything you think. Don't believe it. Just because you thought it does not mean it's true. Oh my goodness. So the next morning I started writing down these things that I was thinking about myself. You don't have any friends. You're never going to go anywhere. You'll never do this. And I was like, oh, no. I was so depressed, but by the grace of God, I had enough lucidity. I don't know what the word is, like where I had the wherewithal to challenge that. And by 10 a.m., the things I had written down, they would have driven anyone to suicide. Which is why I did not want a gun in the house for a long time, because I didn't trust myself around it. Thoughts like that, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, when you've got babies to take care of, that's a hard way to live. So challenge what you believe about yourself. Hold it up against the truth. Hear me when I say this is the truth. This book right here, these 66 books in one, this is a living document. This is not old, dusty information from old, white-haired men.
Not really good news.
This is the truth. Hold your thoughts up against it. Challenge yourself to discern whether what you're thinking about yourself is true. Okay, I want to hear it. Hold on a second. And hear me when I say, if you believe what you believe about yourself is the direction you're going to head in. So I encourage you to believe wonderful, true things about yourself. Also, Celebrate Recovery Daily Devotion. This is pretty fantastic. Celebrate Recovery. Check yourself into one. Find one. They're at churches. They're awesome. It's a 12-step program based on scripture, based on Bibles. Get in there. It's for anybody with a hurt habit or a hang-up, which is all of us, by the way. And this is a 365-day devotional that I'm loving. Okay, Mary's got good news for me. Mary, what is it?
I found a shirt that I do want.
Oh, that is really good news.
Under your jeans.
Mary, that's wonderful. And I'm so glad you looked under my jeans. She found her shirt that she was wanting, and I was so afraid I had given this to Goodwill. Yay, you found it. That is very good news.
It was
Thank
under
you.
your jeans.
All right. I think I've already talked about what is the next step. I believe I have. The next step for me, and I got that encouragement and that idea and that inspiration out of this book. What is my next step? My next step is to have my lines solidified so that when I'm maintaining, I am not trying to maintain my weight and get my lines right. So anyways, we're going to end on that good note. Mary found her shirt. Goodbye. I'll see you in part 4.